this Mr. Beast, very popular, like the most popular single streamer on YouTube, or a video maker, content creator.
He's single. I don't know.
So at any rate, he has a buddy who helps him with his channel. I think he's like his sidekick, named Chris. Chris has a wife and a very young child. Chris has come out as transgender and says they are transitioning, becoming a woman.
Really?
Well, and the thing that makes this so fucking weird, the thing that makes this so difficult is that here's the picture. That's Chris from Mr. Beast.
Beautiful wife,
beautiful wife,
kid.
Beautiful kid, and that's Chris now.
Do you know how devastating that would be to that wife?
This puts me as a commentator for this, and this is all stuff he puts out publicly. I would not talk about anything like this if this was private. I think that's gross. I think that's fucking disgusting. I just want to put the disclaimer out there. This guy put this stuff out there publicly. Right. And now it's in news articles and everything else. This guy has a beautiful family. He's making a decision that I find to be remarkably selfish. And there is nothing wrong with making I almost said soulless. Jesus, I'm turning into that Florida guy. There's nothing wrong with making a selfish decision like this if it affects nobody else. If you are 22 years old and you don't have even if you have a girlfriend, fuck a girlfriend. Who gives a shit about a girlfriend? If you have a girlfriend or you're single and you're like 22 years old and you want to start dressing like a chick from Hot Topic, go ahead. Okay. Whatever. None of my fucking business.
Then it's only devastating to your parents.
Right. And who gives a shit? You're going to end up hating them anyway because you're going to find out they fucked up your entire upbringing.
Yep.
So who gives a shit? So, but you have a wife, you have a kid. People have a hard time with this. The time to make those kinds of decisions is over. You got married, you had a kid. You've closed the book on that chapter of your life.
Didn't getting married and having kids kind of tell yourself and the whole world, like, right, hey, I'm a dude?
So, like Soup Can says, mental illness is a motherfucker. We have such a level of narcissism now in this culture that now, if you feel it, just fucking do it, right? Live your truth. I think that's a dumb fucking proposition. Live your truth. It's not that simple. You have people who depend on you. You know who can't live their truth? The CEO of, say, pick a company, Nike. The CEO of Nike can't live their truth because every move they make affects the stock price of Nike.
Yeah.
They have responsibilities to a lot of people. And people say, oh, well, if he has responsibilities, and so that means that he can't be himself. Well, why can't he be himself just because he has responsibility to shareholders? My answer to that?
That's what the money is for.
That's why you make millions of dollars a year. That's why you get the bonuses and the golden parachutes, because if you get a DUI and they don't fire you, the stock price of Nike goes down. People lose lots of money.
Yep. No, that's going to happen. It's happening with Bud Light right now.
Right. Laughing Lion says Cash App CEO can't be himself. Well, I mean, for goodness sake. But with all of this shit, it's like this guy's like, oh, live your truth, this and that. You got a wife and kid, motherfucker. That's done. If you wanted to cut your dick off or you wanted to dress like a girl, that day is done. You had your chance to do that. You didn't do it. Sorry, you get one turn around the globe. Or not around the globe, but one turn around life.
But the worst part is now, though, if that wife were to come out and say that too, like, look, you've devastated this family. Like, this is awful. Like, you've broken our hearts. You've wrecked this all. Like, now she's going to be put through the ringer by, like, trans activists and stuff. Like, oh, how could you say such a thing to somebody just trying to live their honest, be their honest self?
Yeah. So Mr. Beast has this Chris. And we showed you the pictures of Chris now. Chris has become trans. So Sunny V2 on YouTube, who's a channel I've watched their videos before. I like them. We played the one on Kate, who was the eater. Oh, that they thought was being abducted or whatever.
Oh, I know what you mean. The mukbanger who like never said anything but ate huge platters. Somebody
in the chat will do that. I'm just waiting for someone in the chat to remember the name and send it to me. He's done videos on different YouTubers. I think he does a solid job. I've never found Sunny V2 to be particularly mean or nasty or take cheap shots or anything like that. Sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Kate Yupp.
Kate Yupp.
That was it. Kate Yupp. So you have this, you have Mr. Beast. Sunny V2 makes a video about how, this Chris guy is now a problem. Why Chris will soon be a nightmare for Mr. Beast. It's not an unfair video to make because his whole point is Mr. Beast has created a brand for himself that's free of controversy.
Yep, and now there's controversy.
Mr. Beast has created this whole thing for himself where he's not political. And by the way, this is what I loved about our kid watching Mr. Beast, is that he was safe. There were no political shenanigans in there. There were no cultural or societal shenanigans or anything like that in there.
Right.
It was just a wacky guy doing wacky stunts and throwing his money around for people. Now you've got this, and I know Mr. Beast put a tweet out and people roasted him for it. He said he was going back at people. Mr. Beast says, yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my fucking friend, and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. This is rough for me because I understand Mr. Beast should defend his friend. He loves his friend. He wants to defend his friend. That's fine. I have no issue with that. But the minute Mr. Beast weighed in on this and started going transphobia, it's going to be perceived by people as picking sides.
Yes.
In a cultural debate.
That is picking sides.
And when Mr. Beast's whole thing is built on, I'm not controversial, I don't give a shit about politics, I don't give a shit about news, I want to offer a guy $500,000 to live in a circle for a month. That's my whole angle. That's my whole bit. This is going to hurt him. And I think that I haven't watched the Sunny V2 video. Maybe people who have watched it can tell me, but I don't think Sunny V2 was trying to say Chris is a nightmare for Mr. Beast as a human being, as a person, as a friend. What he's saying is business-wise, this Chris guy has now become a nightmare for Mr. Beast. And when someone like Sunny V2 says that, he's talking about it from a business perspective. You have to remove your feelings and emotion from that statement.
Mm-hmm. It's business.
Mr. Beast is putting his feelings and emotions into his reaction to this Sunny V2 video. Look, he can be your friend, and he can also be a nightmare for what you've put together. He can be both of those things.
Right.
You love him. He's your friend. You support his transition. I will say this. It doesn't matter what I think. Like, it shouldn't change this Chris guy's world. I don't know Chris from Adam. I don't support his decision. There's a wife and a kid here who have had their lives irreparably harmed by the selfish decision this guy has made.
Dad won't be around now.
People are saying, oh, but he gets to live his truth. Yes, he does.
But not with his family.
But, to every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. Just because I'm saying that this guy has done irreparable harm to his family doesn't mean I think he shouldn't be allowed to do it. Doesn't mean I think he should be locked in a cage or something like that. All I'm saying is two things can be true at the same time. You're so proud of your friend that he's living his truth, this and that. And what I say is true. He's fucked up his family.
Yeah, we're all allowed to screw up our own lives, though, I guess, right? And now the wife and kid will just be there, pretty alone, I'm assuming, to figure it out.
I mean,
because we're over here too busy pretending, to do other shit.
Yeah, I'm using socialist media says I wouldn't give a fuck about business. I'd want him to get help ASAP. I think so.
Yeah, I can imagine if that were one of my friends that had been married with children and stuff, I'd be like, dude, what's going on? Is something wrong?
Yeah.
Because you've done all this thus far.
I'd get him off the videos immediately.
Well, yeah, that's not a good place for him.
I'd get him off the videos only because being in the public eye while this is going on is not going to be... Obviously, the guy's got mental health issues already. Mm-hmm. And this particular community of people does not handle mental health stuff well.
No.
So I think this should be an all-hands-on-deck psychological, psychoclinical, psychomedical, whatever, approach to getting this guy. Because if you're going to go down this road, you'd better have a team of fucking therapists ready to kind of guide you through this.
Right.
So... I think Sunny V2 is right. It's kind of like, what's his name? Bill the Butcher in Gangs of New York says, It's fair. A touch indelicate, but fair. And again, I do think it has completely fucked what Mr. Beast was going for. You know, it's amazing to watch this because we've seen it a million times now in the YouTube era. Big creator takes off. It goes bananas. It goes apeshit. It goes crazy. And you go, I can't imagine. Like, this guy will be around forever. This guy will just, I mean, he's going to be a new cultural touchstone kind of thing.
Yep.
And then something happens and the whole thing just falls the fuck apart. I'm not saying Mr. Beast is going to fall the fuck apart over time, but I think this is the peak.
I do think this is the peak now because there has been an issue where he had to choose a side, and I'm not shitting on him for his choice because that is his choice, and I'm sure he's doing just fine. But
who, Mr. Beast or Chris?
Mr. Beast.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, I'm sure Mr. Beast is doing just fine, but I do also think that there's probably a very large group of Mr. Beast supporters that are like, I don't give a fuck if there's a trans guy on his team or something. Like, is Mr. Beast still helping people? Okay, then.
Yeah,
like, you know.
And Dumbtown's right. Either way, he's going to piss someone off.
Of
right.
course he
if
will.
he doesn't say anything and he doesn't support his friend, he's going to catch shit from those people. If he stands up and he supports his friend, he's going to get shit either way. Mm-hmm. That's why what he had built was so smart.
Yeah.
He stayed away from all that shit. That's the way to do it. Go right down the middle. The way we do our show, we alienate an entire subset of people right off the bat. And we just go, we're going to do our show for the people who like it.
Shouldn't
a guy like Mr. Beast, though, he's doing the right thing. He's driving straight down the middle, uncontroversial, entertaining children and their families. And something like this comes along, and it is just a fucking boulder in the road.
Shouldn't Chris have understood that too, though? About the show, at least? Like, if he was going to go down the trans road, he should have said something to his friend and be like, look, I understand that this is not what our show is about, and maybe I need to step away. That's a total lack of awareness, too.
And I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it. I'm just saying that so you guys don't think I'm a monster. But you see that a lot with the trans community. There is not a second thought given to how any of this is going to impact anyone else. And they would
think about it.
And they would bitch at me and go, well, we're living our truth. We don't have to consider your feelings. No, you don't have to. Nobody has to consider anybody's feelings when they make a decision that might impact other people. But you know what we call people who don't consider other people's feelings before they make decisions that affect others? Narcissistic assholes. So, no, you don't have to consider Mr. Beast. You don't have to step away before you announce it. You don't have to consider your child. You don't have to consider your family or anything like that. But it does make you a narcissistic asshole. I don't care how much of society thinks you're brave or strong or whatever. Narcissistic assholes can be brave and strong.
Well, none of those people that are looking at Chris and saying, wow, so brave, so strong, none of those people are living a personal life with this person. Okay? That's why, like, it's the same with any streaming show, whatever. Like, anyone could look at us and say all the nasty things about us. They don't live with us. They have no idea what's going on.
Rincewind says, how do you know they didn't discuss it? That's a great point. I don't know if they did. I'm sure they probably did talk about it. Rostog's Broken Spirit says, Aaron should prove he's not racist by divorcing April and marrying Lizzo. Do you know what the most depressing part of what you just said was, besides divorcing my lovely wife, who I love so much? Lizzo would reject me.
Why?
Think about that. Well, she just would. If I went to Lizzo and I said, I think we should date, she'd be like, ew, no. You know what that does to me to think about that? That I would be rejected.
Want to throw a party?
I would be rejected. I mean, yes, in that sense, like dodged a bullet. But the fact that Lizzo would look at me as a potential partner and go, ew, gross, no. Yeah. That really does. I kind of want to go to the bathroom and never come out. Thinking about that.
I was listening to another streamer last night at the gym when I was working out too, and she was talking about how she gets like endless comments from like haters and shit, like, oh, you and your husband are gonna get divorced and he's gonna come after you for child support and all that shit, and he's a shitty parent and you're a shitty parent and stuff, and like, so we're not the only ones that happens to.
That was
obviously.
A streamer? Like
Trisha. Of course.
Oh,
People shit on her because her and Moses are at home with their child.
I don't understand.
And parents together. And
I don't understand Trisha Paytas hate.
I don't. Well, I get it if you're looking at her pre-2019.
Okay, but it's been 3 years. Move the fuck on.
But it's been a while, you know. And Just like these people don't know anything about personal lives.
You know what? I really don't give a shit about Trisha Paytas, so I don't watch any of her stuff, and it has no impact on my life. I can't imagine spending a second of my day hating Trisha Paytas.
No, mostly for me, when I listen to her talk about her experiences in the streaming world, though, I do hear a lot of similarities to ourselves, other stories we've heard from other streamers, and it's like you're all the same autistic group out there that are just shitty for no reason.
It's almost like the internet is full of remarkably autistic people who can't keep their opinions to themselves.
You gotta pull yourself out of that and go live a life, and that's always what she says too.
You gotta go box.
Right. And for Trisha, you gotta go to Starbucks and Target.
I bet she sounds like a seal when she's getting fucked. They're talking about Lizzo.
Oh, God.
Lip Ripper says, Aaron, you'd get trapped in her gravitational pull and spaghettified. Get it? She's a black hole. Oh, sorry. Just in case people didn't understand.
Fuck. I'm sure she's a nice lady.
CBK, Born to Lose, says, oh, he just said maybe I fit in here, and then he retracted it. Well, see, now that doesn't make me feel good. What did I do in those 13 seconds before I got to that comment to upset you and run off a potential fan?
That's too bad.
What did I do in 13 I said black hole.
Oh.
It wasn't racist. It was a space joke because she's like a planet.
Well, you didn't even make the joke. You just read it.
I'm innocent here. I was just following orders. CBK Born to Lose says, LOL, it's not you, it's me. I've heard that before. You're fucking my best friend, aren't you?
It's not you, it's me. And she goes off to play her flute. What a weird combination is like Lizzo playing the flute. Have you seen it? That's all she does now.
Yeah.
I think.
What a strange combination. A woman and a child. What a strange situation. Stopping every 100 miles. Calling Baton Rouge.